morning, my beautiful creatives. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you new here, my name is Chrissie B, and I'm a creativity coach hoping to inspire and empower you to live a more creative life every day. Now, it has been a really long time since I have done a Cuppa chat, and I thought today would be as good a day as any to get back on my own bandwagon and start again. My Cuppa choice today, believe it or not, is good old H2O. I don't know about you, but I'm not drinking enough water in my life, so I'm trying really hard to stay on that. So I didn't really know what to talk about today. It has been really a long time since I've done a Cuppa chat. So I've kind of been in my head all morning thinking, what should I do? What should I talk about? And you know what? In all honesty, I'm just going to talk to you as if, you know, you're my best friend and I haven't talked to you in a really long time. So what's been going on in my life? Well, life has been crazy busy. You know, my hubby and I moved to Portland, and I think you know this if you've watched my channel, especially my old Cuppa chats. My hubby and I moved to Portland, and we are living in a cute little house up here. My husband is a residential contractor and working for himself, and he loves what he's doing. And I was fortunate enough to get a job where I was and am able to work from home full time. So that's been really awesome. What's floating my boat nowadays? Well, art journaling always floats my boat. I think art journaling will always be my jam. I still love my art supplies. I love going to the art store. When I'm having a bad day, an art store seems to just cheer me up. Even if I don't purchase anything, if I just walk through and look at all the different paint colors and the pens and the markers and the different brushes and all that kind of jazz, just makes me so incredibly uberly happy. I think that's what my answer would have been even back when I was doing my Cuppa chats before, but that's where I stand now. I'm just really, I love art journaling. I love that it gives you the ability to tap into, well, for me, I'm a highly sensitive introvert. If you've watched my channel at all, you probably know that already. What most of you may or may not know is that I deal with issues of anxiety. And for the most part, I have been ignoring it. Like, anxiety happens. I just thought everybody had anxiety. I thought everyone had panic attacks. And not just panic attacks, but debilitating panic attacks where you think that the world is falling apart. And I realized since moving to Portland, because I've had time to like really get into my own head and really figure out what's going on with myself, I realized that's not the way everybody functions. And I've been doing a lot of like soul searching and trying to figure out, okay, if this is your reality, how can you manage in this reality? So unfortunately, that's why my Cuppa chats pretty much had fallen off. It's just because even the idea of getting my face in front of the camera seemed really, really scary to me for some reason. And so I'm putting my big girl panties on, and here I go. Other things float in my boat. I'm just gonna tell you this. I don't make any money off of this. These are just things that I love that I really want to share with you because I think that they bring me a lot of joy and they're very functional a lot of times, or they're just fun, you know, they bring some quality to my life. So I just want to share them with you because I'm passionate about them, because I love them, because they do make me happy. They're very utilitarian, some of them are things that I just really, really like, or have been floating my boat, because I'm all about what's floating my boat lately. And one of the things is my 50/50. It's a 50/50 water bottle, and it's vacuum insulated. It says this is a 40-ounce bottle. I absolutely adore this because one of my things about water is I like the taste of water. I'm one of those people who like drinking water, but I don't like drinking water if it's sat overnight or if it gets a little warm. I don't like that. I like ice cold water. So blah, blah, blah. I ended up picking up one of these 50/50 bottles, and you could put ice water in it today and leave it by tomorrow morning. It's still ice water, which blows my mind. Apparently, who knew? Insulated cups do that all the time, and they've probably been around forever, but I have just now in 2017 falling upon them and loving them. It's also making it much easier for me to remember to drink your water, drink your water, drink your water. Other things floating my boat. Well, one of the issues that I've had this year that I've really struggled with, and I've actually had this for the past few years. Now, if you've watched my channel for a while, especially when I was doing the actual move from Salem to Portland, you will have seen my library. I have a huge collection of books that is fed by my love of books and my love of reading, and it is also fed by the fact that my husband is also a big reader, and we just like books. Me more so than him, but I like to clump him in with me so that way I don't feel so guilty for having quite so many books. Now, the ironic thing about having all these books is that even though I have not really taken the time to read anything, because I find that when I go to read, I open a book, I like set myself up, get myself all situated, get myself in my perfect reading spot and my reading way, and I open a book and I start to read and I'm like, yes, I'm finally reading. And then what happens is, as I'm reading, all of these other thoughts, why aren't you doing this? You know you should be doing that. This needs to be taken care of. Have you done this yet? Hey, what about this? And my mind just starts like going off on these huge tangents and I cannot read. I end up not being able to remember what I've read, or I reread the same paragraph over and over and over again until finally I get frustrated and then I stop. So I really haven't read anything, even though even up to this point, I still like purchase books. I love books. I love the way that they feel. I love the way they smell. I love the way that they make me feel like, you know, I have friends in these books and I can, you know, I can say goodbye to them for a little while and put them on the shelf and I can pick them up again and I can read them and I can revisit my friends again in the neighborhoods that they're in and the situations that they're in. So that's awesome. Well, this last week I finally just was like, I need to find something to read. I need to find something light and fluffy and not brain sapping at all, and I need to like have a chat with my inner self and say, self, you need to give yourself permission to read. And we're going to ignore the fact that the dishes aren't done, or we're going to ignore the fact that this thing that you haven't, you know, world hunger has not been solved yet. You're going to let that go for now. And you're going to just sit down and read and you're just going to see what it feels like. And I read, so I picked up this book, okay? It's called Doctor Who, Dead of Winter. It is by James Goss, and it is totally a geeky kind of book, but I don't know if you know, but I'm a geeky kind of girl, and I really love Doctor Who. One of my girlfriends in Salem got me really hooked on the TV series, and I love the new TV series, not the old TV series from the 60s, but the new one. I love Doctor Who, and I haven't really watched Doctor Who in a really long time, and I was kind of missing that. And my husband and I were over at Pal's bookstore here in Portland, and I was in the science fiction section, standing right in front of where all these Doctor Who books were. And so I picked one up and I read the premise of it. And it basically says, in a remote clinic in 18th century Italy, a lonely girl writes to her mother. She tells of pale English aristocrats and mysterious Russian nobles. She tells of intrigues and secrets and strange faceless figures that rise from the sea. And she tells about the enigmatic Mrs. Pond, who arrives with her husband and her physician. What she doesn't tell her mother is the truth that everyone knows and no one says, that the only people who come here do so to die. Now, I thought, okay, that's cool. I mean, I haven't watched Doctor Who in a while. I really want to watch Doctor Who. What if I took the time to read one instead of watched one? Maybe that might break apart my reading slump and get me back into reading again. And sure enough, it really did. I haven't finished it yet. I don't have a lot of time in my life right now to read, but this book is just so much fun, and it's kind of floating my boat, as dorky and geeky as it is to say that. I just love this book. It's just a lot of fun. So I thought I'd share that with you. The other thing that I do and always have done, especially this year, working from home, I'm still working in healthcare. I'm still a data analyst. I still do, I'm a programmer. And so it can get really kind of tedious and sometimes boring. And so what I really like to do is I like to pop a podcast on, or I like to listen to motivational speakers on YouTube, especially like TED Talks. I really like watching TED Talks on YouTube, and not watching them, but listening to them while I'm working. So one of my people I really like to listen to when I'm starting to feel sad, or if I get too much in my head, which happens a lot, and it has been happening a lot to myself lately, is I like to listen to Oprah. Who doesn't love Oprah? Come on. So I was watching or listening to some of her Super Soul Sundays, which I love to do. I don't have cable, so I don't get the ability to like watch them real time, or live. I don't get to watch them when they're on, but I do get to watch snippets on YouTube when she posts them on YouTube. So that really makes me excited. Well, she was speaking to somebody, her name was Lisa Nichols, and I had never heard of Lisa before. And what Lisa had to say was so profound, and it really like smacked me in the head, like, hello, stupid, why aren't you paying attention? Like, these messages have been out here forever, but you're not paying attention. So I started to kind of like voraciously listen to her listened to her speak, and I just started to like find every single video that I could find that Lisa Nichols was speaking on. She's a motivational speaker. She's also an author. She was featured in the movie The Secret a few years back, which I watched The Secret. I just never knew that she was in it. So I was just so moved by what she said that when I'm working, you know, because the way my brain works, and you probably noticed this just watching my videos, the way my brain works is that I'll be on a thought, and it's a very linear thought, and then all of a sudden like this little tangent will come along and say, ooh, you need to pay attention to me right now, or ooh, you need to pay attention to me right now. Well, in my real life, that's fine, especially because I'm a creative. And usually this, ooh, you gotta pay attention to this, is usually like, ooh, you should try this art supplier. Ooh, you haven't tried this art medium in a while. But when I'm working at my job, I need to really pay attention to what I'm doing. I need to make sure I'm staying focused on the task at hand, and all these little ooh shinies that keep popping up and like trying to get my attention, I have to like put them out of my mind. And the way that I do that is I have a 12 by 12 pad of paper that I keep next to me. And anytime one of these thoughts pop in my head, I have to write them down. So I'm kind of acknowledging, yes, thought, I've heard you, I've written you down, I will come back to you later, and then I could stay focused on my work. Well, when I was listening to Lisa Nichols, I have a section, like it's a blank piece of paper, right? It's a 12 by 12 pad of paper, it's blank, it's got like the date at the top or something. And I always write the date at the top, because I start a new page every day. There's a page at the top, I put the date at the top, then I put a section for I'm grateful for, and I underline that twice so that I have a space to like list all the things I'm grateful for. And then, come here. Maybe this is a good time for an interjection. This is one of those ooh shiny things that I cannot ignore. Now, you might not be able to see her. Oh, hi honey. This is one of our new puppies. Hi, hi, hi. Her name is Gracie. Hi little Gracie. She is, her and her sister, they are sisters. They're from the same litter, thank you. They're mouth kissers, and which kind of ick me out a little bit, but she's so little, she's so, no wait, don't leave yet, wait, hang out with mama. I know you're so excited. Okay, so she's really antsy, she wants to get down. So this is Gracie, and I'll show you Bitsy a little bit later. I'm sure she'll come wandering through. Go, good girl. Her and her sister, they're actually from the same litter. They are half Pomeranian, half Terrier. And I think I just heard Bitsy. Hey Bitsy, come here baby. Come here. Oh, it's a good girl. Oh, it's a good girl. And this is Miss Bitsy. Hi. She's also a mouth kisser, so I'm trying to train that out of them, but they're still pretty neat. This is Bitsy. She was the skittish one of the two. And the way that we got them, I know this is totally such a tangent, but the way that we got them was I went to North Carolina. I work from home, but I do have to travel to North Carolina, which is where the hospital is that I work at. I have to travel there about once a quarter. And I had, the day before I flew home, I was out there for about a week, and the day before I flew home, my husband started sending me all these pictures of puppies and puppy litters, and I was like, what are you doing? Kind of freaking me out. I'm working, I'm in the middle of work, and I'm in a meeting, and I get all these puppy pictures. What's happening? He's like, oh, don't worry, it's okay. I'm just window shopping. Okay, you're free. Whoops, there you go. I'm just window shopping, it's fine. I'm like, okay, whew, like, that was a close one. Now, just so you know, in the meantime, like the past few months, we lost our Sophie girl back in December. And I think if you watch my channel, you'll know that. And it had been the first time in probably 16 years that we have not had puppies. And I was starting to get really homesick for my girls, and I was really missing them a lot, and I missed the sound of chickering feet on the ground. And so Jason and I had been talking about it, and you might hear them, they're playing now down the floor. But we were talking about it, and I really wasn't sure, because one of the things I really did enjoy about having just the two of us was that I could leave at a moment's notice without having to worry about what are we gonna do with the girls, is the place we're going, is it puppy safe, do they allow puppies, do they allow dogs, because a lot of places don't. And I was kind of liking that. I was enjoying that freedom. Well, he had sent me pictures. I mean, the pictures kind of continued all day, and they were of this litter, and I didn't know who they were, and I didn't know where he was, that there was all these puppies, and it was kind of freaking me out a little bit, but he told me he was window shopping, so I didn't put too much stock into it until he showed me this specific puppy, and I'll show you the picture here. So he showed me this picture of this black and tan dog, and it was a black dog and a tan dog, and I absolutely fell in love with them. I was like, oh crap, we are in so much trouble. We're gonna have dogs again. How am I gonna make that work with working at home? Because somebody's gonna have to puppy train them, and it's gonna be me because I'm the only one home. Jason works out all day. He works outside the house all day. And he's like, don't worry about it, it's okay, don't worry about it. I'm like, oh, okay, well that's fine. I was kind of hoping you'd tell me that you just got them, but you know, it's probably not the right time yet. Thanks, I appreciate it. Good job. So he picks me up from the airport the next morning, and it has been a long day. It takes me an entire day to get to the East Coast and an entire day to get back from the East Coast. So I'm usually pretty tired by the time I get home. And he says to me in the car on the way back to the house from the airport, he says, well, we do have 2 puppies if you want them, but we'd have to go to Salem to get them, which meant like another hour-and-a-half drive to get back to Salem and then have to come back again. So I thought, oh my God, I'm so tired. But these puppies were so freaking cute in this picture. I was like, okay, well, let's go take a look. And he's like, well, just know you have final veto say. You're allowed to say no, you know, we're not doing it. And we get there and we see the dogs, and so the black puppy was there that Jason had chosen, but the brown puppy was not. And Jason was really heartbroken about it because he really loved that dog, and it was big and fluffy and super, super cuddly. And he had decided, yeah, we're not doing this. And I'm like, are you kidding? Look at my dog. She's so adorable. She's big and round and fluffy, and I love her. And the other one, the little tan one, there was a tan one there, it just wasn't the tan one that Jason wanted. It was a litter of 5 puppies, and they were all tan except Gracie, who's black, right? Gracie's the black one. And she was like a little puffball, and you know, I'm a sucker for my little puffball puppy dogs. I mean, who's not, right? But he was like, no, I don't want to do this. That's not the dog I had fallen in love with. That's not the one I wanted. Apparently he had been going there a couple days and kind of bonded with these dogs. And I didn't know that until that day. And I was like, no, I want this dog. I can't leave that one because the other tan dog, which is Bitsy was kind of cowering in the corner, and she was really skittish, and she was shaking really hard. And the place that we got them from was a house that just, I don't want to go into it, but it was not a place that I thought puppies should be. And I was like, I want Gracie, and I want her, she's mine. She's already mine. We've already bonded. She loves me. She's kissed me. It's love at first sight. But I cannot leave this other puppy here. And I definitely can't leave her. I don't want to just have the one dog. We need to have 2. So that's how we ended up with both girls. The first 3 or 4 weeks was horrible. Now, my husband and I have had Chihuahuas forever. We've never had anything but a Chihuahua, and we were very familiar with Chihuahua temperament. We knew Chihuahua mannerisms, the different things that they did, all the things. And with this dog, because it's a mix of Pomeranian and Rat Terrier. Pomeranian's really sweet. Rat Terrier's really, really spastic. They need a lot of energy. They need to run and play, and they want to hunt things, and it's been a totally different experience. It was really hard for me just because I'm trying to work and take care of dogs. We finally figured it out now, but it took a while. Let me just tell you, it took a while. And for a while there, I had to tell my husband, you are not allowed to leave overnight, because he was leaving overnight a few times. That's part of the nature of his job, is that he's got to go out of town to check on jobs to see how they're doing. And I finally told him, I said, until these puppies are at least 6 months old, you are not allowed to go away overnight. And he's like, well, why? I'm like, because I am hypersensitive. I have no ability to like relax or have quiet or peace. They nap while I'm working, and then when I'm not working, they're all spaz all the time. I said, I'm freaking out. Oh my God. And it got so bad that one of the nights he had left, I called him. I said, if you leave me overnight before the 6 months is up, I will divorce you. And he's like, well, that's awfully harsh, don't you think? And because we've been together for 22 years, and to let puppies be the thing that makes us divorce, he's like, well, that's a little harsh, don't you think? And I'm like, I will divorce you if you leave me overnight again before the 6 months is up. And we can't laugh about it now, but in the moment I was like, I will divorce you. And he's like, okay, I get it. So blah, blah, blah. We've had to do some like renegotiating of how Papa and Mama are gonna function with these 2 dogs. But it's been awesome, and This week was the week that we finally like looked at each other from across the couch, because generally what happens now is we have Jason's on one end of the couch, I'm on the other end of the couch, probably about the last half hour of the day, and the dogs are in the middle and they've finally fallen asleep. And there's peace and there's harmony and everything's right with the world. And there was a moment this week where my husband and I looked at each other from across the couch and I said, do you remember that thing that you said when I was at my wit's end and I said, I don't want to do this? What were we thinking? Are we insane? And you told me it'll be worth it. I said, you're right. It's worth it. And he's like, I knew it, I was right. But then in the moment, he also was realizing we had this moment of peace too. So anyways, they are quickly becoming and have become the joy of our lives. They're just spastic, crazy girls who have chewed through one of my lamp cords and like to chew on everything. But we've, you know, what the big difference between these two puppies and Faye and Sophie is that Faye and Sophie never really played. And when they did play, it was pretty much just chasing each other. But there was never like toys involved or bones or, you know, things like that. Even treats, they didn't really care about that kind of stuff. Which is really weird, I guess, from, you know, puppy owner, dog owner. These dogs, you have to have bones, you have to have chew toys, you have to have toys, you have to have treats. Treats are, we have to train these dogs totally different than we trained Faye and Sophie. We had never had two puppies at the same time. We had Faye first, and because Faye was my sister-in-law's dog, she had already done all the hard stuff, you know, the potty training and the, you know, all that. When we got Faye, she was pretty much like a pretty package with a bow. She was like all done. She was done cooking. And then when we got Sophie about a year, maybe a year or two later, I can't remember, but we got about a year later, and Faye really did most of the training of Sophie herself. Like, we didn't have to do it. All we had to do was like make sure she knew the, you know, how to get out the doggy door so she can go potty outside. So that was the only thing we really had to help with, was some of the potty training. But she really just mimicked Faye, and that was so convenient. And we were very naive, thinking, oh yeah, all puppies are like that, it'll be so easy. At one point, my husband turns to me when we're having like one of these like WTF moments, like what the hell have we done? He looks at me and he says, I know this is gonna sound really stupid, but I just thought if we got two dogs that we'd automatically have a Faye and Sophie again. And I'm like, what? He said, do you remember how much time and attention and work it took just to make them Faye and Sophie? Like, we had to, like, you know, anyways. So I think I'll leave it at that. I'm gonna add a clip of my girls playing, because that is what they do best. Yeah. Oh, I also want to tell you that I am changing things up on my channel again. I have a tendency to change things up on my channel. Not just my channel, but in my life in general. I like to shake things up. If things feel stagnant to me, I want to like upset the cookie jar and get the juju back up again. So I think what I'm gonna do is I would like to do a Cuppa chat every Sunday again, like I was doing before, and I'm gonna do a creative video every Thursday. And I don't know what the creative video is gonna be every week, but it will be something that I feel adds value to your life and makes me happy to do it. So it has to have a combination of adding value to you and something fun for me. So we will take those two things and marry them together. So keep an eye out. I'll have another creative video out this Thursday, and I will have another Cuppa chat next Sunday. So until then, bye for now. I love you bunches. Thank you so much for watching. Use your words.
Sit, stay, sit, stay, sit, stay, stay, sit, and stay. Stay. Good girl. No.
I just want to treat so bad.
What do you want? Here's the phone. Here's a good girl.
It's Gracie. Gracie's the black one. Bitsy's the brown one. Bitsy's a little bit more skittish than Gracie is. Gracie's Miss Social Butterfly. She goes up to everyone and says, hello, I love you. Bitsy's like, I don't know who you are. My steak. I found my steak. This little toy has treats that fall out. Bitsy usually makes Gracie do all the work though. Gracie knocks it around. Bitsy waits for a treat to fall out and eats it. See how that works? Oh, she got 2 that time. Oop. Bitsy's like, thank you, sister. Sweet girls. Gracie, you're so smart. Well, maybe Bitsy's the smart one, so she's the one who makes sister do all the work. I'm rambling. Welcome to the Rambling Show. This craziness that goes on in my head. I hope that there's some of you out there that can relate to what I'm talking about. Ba-dum-ba-dum-bum-bum. Yeah. I know, can you pay me to just like be a goof like 24/7? That would be so